Hello, you're watching the very first edition of Dialogues from Home. My name is Dimitar Sotirov. I am based in my home in Sofia, Bulgaria. And I started this series on conversations 11 months ago in May 2020, presenting leading Bulgarian musicians, singers, conductors, directors, also journalists dealing with music. Today, my very first guest in this English language emission is the wonderful piano duo Genova and Genova Dimitrov. They live in Germany, where they actually started their career 25 years ago as a piano duo. I'm waiting for them to join me and to start this conversation. Let's hope they're going to be fast coming here, and welcome. Be advised that these conversations will continue in English, so if you want to be informed on time about the forthcoming conversations with not just Bulgarian, but I'm going to invite as well foreign musicians, please follow this channel, Insta Dialozi, so that you will know every time when there will be a conversation in English. Do not forget this. What can I tell you about my today's guests? Well, they're already here, so I'm inviting. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Mr.
Hi.
Wie geht's? What's the weather in Germany?
Alles klar, wunderbar.
We thought we are talking English today, not German, but we can absolutely talk
I
only
must
German.
admit, these are almost the only German words which I know, unfortunately for me.
But this is the very good key for opening the conversation always.
The most important word you said. Absolutely amazing. For us would be, of course, today a little easier to talk in German, because last days we are talking with many of your colleagues and making interviews and conversations with friends, with colleagues. It's very nice, the time now about our birthday of the duo. So we are talking only Deutsch, German the last day. So now today we have to switch on again on English.
So there is a very first question. How is everyone doing? You start first, please.
Well, we are fine, thank God. We are going further with our preparations, with all the artistic plans that we are having, and we have to, of course, some concerts have to be postponed for later time, but they are already fixed with God's help. But also the new projects that we are just around now to move ahead. With radio recordings, with CD recordings going on, and the ones that we already recorded, we have to work on that, of course, to make some edits on that, some corrections. Everything is, our days more fuller than before, and everybody who knows us knows that our days were full even before. So now don't ask me where our time, how to find our time. There are many interviews, of course, about our 25th birthday anniversary, what we are very happy to realize all the time, because to celebrate exactly, because we are very happy to see the reaction of the music world, of your colleagues, Mitko, around the world, who are celebrating with us and who dedicate really great conversations, great interviews, portrayals, and so on about this anniversary.
We are extremely thankful about this, extremely thankful, because in this difficult time with Corona, actually Corona didn't succeed until now to disturb our birthday, because everything is optimistic, so it's full celebration, full fun. Like I said, the last days, our days maybe not 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, but that makes us happy, and we are feeling really wonderful this time. And thank God, I say 1,000 times, many friends are asking us, did Corona disturb your birthday? No, it didn't. Thank God, I say again, it disturbed only in this sense that many of the concerts should be or must be postponed. This is the only disturbance.
Ruben just said people who know us, but imagine today there are lots of people who doesn't know you. So how could you explain who are you in brief, as musicians and human beings also?
I'm Aglika and this is Luben.
We are the piano duo, Genova and Dimitrov.
Yes.
Okay, what is piano duo? Piano duo are two pianists who find to each other and play, but not just for once or twice a concert, one or two works, or let's say one concerto occasionally. Piano duo is something more. Piano duo is a way of living the life, of sharing the day with each other. Not always, of course, husband and wife, or brother and sister, or sisters and brothers separately. No, this is just two
More like two musicians working together, right?
Yes, and people who are ready to share both the positive and the negative part of the life, and both in private and in professional sense. In this case, talking about repertoire, musical repertoire, for instance, the piano duo could play at two pianos, like we are playing also two pianos, but the piano duo could play also at one piano at four hands, and we're doing this the same way. And many people are not aware of this fact that the repertoire for a piano four hands at one piano is completely different than the two piano repertoire. Many people think, oh, maybe the composers, they just wrote in case there is no second piano in the hall to play at one piano, you know? No, this is completely different.
That's not the case.
Yes, and that shows that the composers, they had the idea of this sound. They wanted that the one piano sounds under four hands. It's not just one pianist. So this is
almost answered my question, which I intended to ask you, to differentiate between piano duo and two piano players playing together. Because
Exactly. Yes. And there is another phase, a beautiful one, really beautiful one. We are in love with this phase of the piano duo playing. This is the playing with orchestra. And I think the answer is the truth. We began to play we were small children when we met for first time, our first conductor with first big orchestra. I remember I was maybe 10 years old. Yes, I was 10, and Ruben approximately same ages when I was like a very small girl and didn't reaching the pedal under the piano. And this first meeting with the big maestro, wow, at once it was shock for me, of course, wonderful shock. So that is the ground level of the things. We began small children already to play with orchestras, and through our very, very stable solistical education and the wonderful legendary teachers, all of them pupils of the great Neuhaus, we were very lucky to develop our technique, our artistry, everything, our personality all through these years. And when our piano duo was born, we were prepared for this love to the orchestra. And we feel...
How long do you know each other? How long do you know each other?
My goodness.
That is by the way, very interesting fact.
Almost 30 years already.
Oh, I didn't want to say the years. It's not a secret. But
the point is that we know officially each other from that time, and later on, when we discovered or discussed our previous time as a children, as a part of our own families at that time with our parents and so on, it came out that our connection went very indirectly much longer than 30 years, because my family is coming basically, of course, both families are coming from Greece originally, but we were born in Bulgaria. I was born in Ruse on the Danube River, and Eglika was born in Plovdiv, the second biggest city in Bulgaria. But these two cities are 300 kilometers from each other apart. And still, we didn't met in our childhood personally, but we met only as concurrence on the piano competitions that we took part in.
We shared the first prizes together. I knew that I have to share the first prize in national and international piano solo competitions as children. I repeat Luben's work. And there is one Genova Dimitrov who is sharing with me. And we just came together on stage to receive the prize, to receive the diploma. Great fun, great happiness. And that was it. And then we said goodbye to each other. We never were exchanging even a small word, because in concurrence, there was love between us never hate. We can never hate. It's not, as Christian, it's absolutely impossible for us. But this feeling of concurrence, what Luban says, and that was it. And then we met for first time personally when our love actually began very quickly, very like I don't know, like a meteorite, like a flash, really. It was.
Guys, you've got something for you. Привет от Дениса.
О,
Дениска, привет, как хорошо тебя, не можем видеть.
Who's Denis? It's your colleague, supposedly, right?
Yes, we were together in Hanover at this legendary class of our beloved teacher, Vladimir Krainev, and Denis is just a brilliant colleague of us, and we like him very much.
And very good friend also.
Okay.
We're talking
Okay,
Russian, not German. Yeah.
You said earlier that you met at some piano contests.
Yes.
But I would like to know, how did you reach this point? Aglika first. And because you said I was a little girl, so wasn't that frightening for you to see this big piano?
Oh yes, that was, I hated. I'm just honest. My parents always explained me the story. I didn't want to play even a note on this big black instrument. I was afraid of this instrument. My mom got with her soul. She left us very early because of terrible sickness, unfortunately. She was all these years when she was alive, concert master in the orchestras, first in the opera orchestra, later in symphony orchestra. And I saw at home always this small violin, small between when we compare big grand piano with a small violin. And I was in love with this sound. I was crying like terribly and saying to my mom, "Mom, I don't want to play this big terrible instrument." So she lost absolutely the patience in every sense.
Yeah.
And
so you preferred the violin. You wanted to play the violin, not the piano, right?
You know, the piano looks very dangerous, very frightening to a small child because it's a huge box there, mostly black, mostly dark. And imagine for a small child, you feel like a huge giant in front of you, and you are
the small fingers trying to catch up.
Yes, it's this pedal also problem. The feet didn't reach the pedal, and it was so terrible. So thanks to my first teacher, Stella Oslikova. She was one of the most famous children teachers in music schools at that time. Really, almost I can say legendary teacher. So God also with her soul, my respect to her and chapeau. So she was. I'm so grateful to her. She was the reason why I was playing the piano, and my grandma, of course.
So the idea came from your mama, and then continued with your first teacher,
yes,
right?
Yes,
absolutely. Okay, and how did it happen with Luban? Did you start yourself with having musicians in your family, or you were the first who followed the path of the music?
Yes, I was happy to have also very strong musicians' parents. As a personality is my family. My background is actually musical. Even my grandma was singing in a choir and playing piano and teaching piano also, but professionally it was my father, who was a very well-known opera singer, world-known opera singer, a bass, Stefan Dimitrov, who was from the tradition of the Bulgarian basses of Hristo Brambarov tradition.
The school of Hristo Brambarov.
Exactly. And so my mom was the chief opera accompanist at the Russe Opera on the Danube River. And I was actually born and raised almost by my parents, of course, at first place, but also by all the colleagues in the opera theater, where I spent most of my childhood there, watching all the rehearsals, following all the, of course, running around the whole opera theater up and down, but also watching and listening to this opera music, amazing.
Haven't you sometimes felt bored by all this music?
Never. It was so interesting. I mean, it was like being in a Disneyland, every time was changing something. The way how all the colleagues in the opera theater behaved to us, both because Aglika was the same way. She was also spending most of her time in the opera theater in Plovdiv, 300 kilometers away from me. What did you do actually so far away from me?
Yeah,
For
He's
so
the
long
reason.
time.
He's the reason. He should meet me
Yeah,
a little earlier, maybe.
Well,
So,
do you guys remember the very first time you saw in person each other?
Yes, I can tell you exactly the moment. I have the feeling this moment was yesterday. I have such a fresh feeling when I explain this story. I never will forget this. It is goosebumps, yeah, feeling. We were at the same national competition yeah, the name is Dimitar Nenov, is dedicated to one of the most important and legendary and known
Bulgarian composers.
Exactly. We took both of us the first prize. We had to share this first prize. And I remember my grandma was with me as a company, and she said, Aglika, you played wonderfully, but I have to talk now to your teacher. But before we talk to your teacher, that she says us how is the results and everything, we have to go inside of the concert hall. It doesn't matter how tired you are. You have to listen to one brilliant boy. He looks like a small Mozart with this typical outfit. She didn't say he is like Mozart plays the piano. No, he's looking only like small Mozart. I make the comparing. So we have to listen to a brilliant rondo of Weber. Weber, I never forget this Weber of Leuven.
The brilliant rondo.
Brilliant rondo is the name of the piece. It was amazing. I was like, oh, what I'm doing at this competition. Wow, this is such a high level. So I was at that time 10 years old.
So you got scared by him initially, by the quality of his playing.
How did you get the first prize with me? I don't understand
as the jury. So I met maybe some mafia. Who knows? No, but it was it was amazing.
Younger pianists and younger students look always up to the a little older ones. So we have a 2-year difference. So it is almost normal.
Yeah. No,
How about Leuven? What was your first impression? Did you also listen to her playing at this very competition?
At that time, not, because that's why I said the younger one look up to the older ones. It's not the opposite, you know. For us, the older ones, the smaller ones, well, you know, the crumb there.
You were quite proud at that time and thinking you're the big boy and you know things better. But then,
I'm the older one. I know everything, you know.
Exactly. He's the boss.
I'm the boss, you know.
He's the boss.
Of course, for this competition, it has never been the same way. But the point is, I was aware of Glika and her talents. Actually, indirectly, I repeat this word again because it was like this exactly. When I understood, because it was a very big preparation in front, before a competition from our teachers, my teacher Pepa Selvilieva at that time, or Diana Boteva, and so on. They were preparing and getting some knowledge who from the other piano music schools from around Bulgaria is preparing for this competition. So who would be the possible concurrent of Leuven, for instance. And so when I understood, I got this information in advance that Glika is preparing also for this. Okay, again, this Glika in Genova. I have to pay 1 or 2 hours more to rehearse before the competition. It's enough already, you know?
So your intelligence was working quite right.
Absolutely, yes. The intelligence, Central Intelligence Agency. But the point is that seriously, of course, when I went to the army to fulfill my duty in the Bulgarian army, in one of the times when my mother visited me with my father, my mom explained me, you know, you missed something very interesting in one of the most important Bulgarian festivals, March Music Days in Ruse, in March, taking place, of course, played this girl that has been always one of your most serious concurrents from Plovdiv, Aglika Genova, and she played Bach concerto with the Rus opera, with the Rus Symphonic Orchestra at that time. And she played such a beautiful, such a stylish Bach, and it was amazing. You just missed it. But of course, I told her that you are in the army, so you are not able. So in this way, I understood again, or Aglika came again into my life indirectly through my mom.
Yeah. And
then so, in other words, since this very first competition you were describing before, continuously she continued to be present in your life.
Absolutely.
In one way or another.
Yes.
How did you reach the point when you get closer to each other?
Yes, that was in Sofia, reaching already the bachelor study. Our gorgeous professor Julian Konstantin Ganev, this name we explain always together with the name of Vladimir Krainev. I repeat, they all three are coming fresh from the Moscow tradition, famous one, legendary one of Neuhaus. So this family was something unbelievable, as high quality artistry musicians, great teachers, great people, sweethearts, everything what I can say, Julian Konstantin. And they did a brilliant class, brilliant solistic class in Sofia. And they choose, of course, the best pianists from Bulgaria, and they were following us from very early ages. So my teacher, what I said, Stella, or later Lucica Ivancheva, for instance, they agreed always that Professor Ganev is coming with his wife, and we are working also with them parallel, together, simultaneously, yeah. So that was never a problem, even they wanted this way. So we were educated from very, very early ages in this Neuhaus piano tradition of playing.
Would you be so kind to describe what makes this school so different, and why did you become in love with it? Because I know you became in love with it.
We feel it every day, this amazing big difference between Neuhaus tradition and different other schools of playing or tradition of piano playing. For me, not because me personally am educated in this tradition, but it is something much, much, much more than only piano playing. And that makes for me the unbelievable high level of education, of art of playing, of feeling as a musician, as artist. Neuhaus is not piano professor. He's much, much, much more. He's an artist in first place, and he's a human being. He was, unfortunately, a human being. And that makes the big difference. It's not only about technique, how we pedalize, how we make our phrase, how we make the dynamic, how we play different styles. No, it's much more of
the tradition of Neuhaus is based on a few very important, let's say, phases. Yes. And one of that is that we have to present the music, a musician, a pianist, of course, needs to present the music as normal as possible to the human understanding. How a human being would sing this, how a human being would talk about this. The same way we always have to struggle to reach this normal human way of expression. Naturality. Yeah, not being just pianists playing the music for themselves. We have to always think how we communicate this music to the audience, so that the audience understands what the composers wanted to say. This brings me to the second very important base and character point of this tradition of Neuhaus, is the absolute honest way of following the composer's will. What is written in the scores. This is the Bible for us, should be the Bible for us. This is the word that we need only to follow. There is almost no, of course, there is the artistic freedom that you can express yourself as a performer and so on. But the first place should be always what the composer wants and what is written in the scores. And to obey these rules, this will of the composer is one of the most important things what Neuhaus told his students also.
Okay, what I think, is this the explanation of your success individually and then as duo? Following the rules, following the Bible, let's say, by Neuhaus.
You know, it is an interesting thing, because many people would say, and we had sometimes discussions with some colleagues or with some people who are not even musicians, and they ask, yes, but where is the freedom of the performer? Where is the space where a performer could be himself or herself? The strange thing is, the more you follow the rules, let's say the rules, the will of the composer, his wish, his intentions, what he wrote to us in the scores, in the music sheet, what we read, the more we are following this, and the more we are honestly following, feeling what he wants, the more our own personality comes through this music. And the more, in very pure form, audience understands our own personality. It is absolutely strange, because we are actually following somebody else's will, somebody else's emotions, but actually our own personality shines the more bright way, the more we are following this.
And because of that, our name is not only artists, we are interpreters. What does it mean, the interpretation? This is the big difference, because we could be also composer. We never could be, actually, because we don't have the talent for this at all. But
you're not composing yourselves, no? You're
Sorry?
not composing.
No,
never.
We never tried.
We didn't try. I don't feel good, and if one doesn't feel good, for what? We have enough to do. We are overworked, actually, with different goals, and we enjoy them. So I think they are special people who have this very, very special connection to the sky, and they could
Tell you a very short story. When we prepared the Rachmaninoff CD, the double CD with complete works from Rachmaninoff for 2 pianos, we read, of course, very, very long stories and books about Rachmaninoff, his life, and so on. So we went very deep into his life and how he spoke, what he said, what we thought, and like this. But the point is that there was one very short story. When he was 18 years old boy, he was traveling by train from Moscow to St. Petersburg in the very deep Russian winter, everything snowy, and and the train stops in a very small train station just for a few minutes. In these minutes, through the window, he sees a beautiful girl waiting for the next train or for some other train.
How romantic.
So beautiful, she was so beautiful. He remembered this face like stamped in his mind and his soul also. The train went, Rachmaninoff went further to St. Petersburg, and everything disappeared. But 40 years later, sitting in front on the shore of the lake Lucerne, where in his Villa Senar, almost in the last years of his life, from this picture of this girl, when what he saw as a small young boy in Russia, came a melody, a sign melody from above, just from nothing, just sitting in front of this lake and in the silence and being absolutely alone by himself. So he listens from the sky, from nothing, this melody that he connects as emotion to the memories of this girl.
To the unknown girl he once saw staying at some small train station.
Absolutely, yes. And this tema was born and became a part or the base of one concerto, I think the third concerto, or one of the symphony, the third symphony. The point is why I'm explaining this. Imagine you or me sitting like this and listening to a melody. It never happened.
We have listened many times, but never heard the music like this.
At least with us, it never happens. That's why we have so deepest respect in our bones from every composer who is composing a really honest human music. So that's why we never try even to compose, because we feel that we don't listen to this music. We feel it through the composer's ears.
I can see the cover of your latest CD just above Iglika. This is Rachmaninoff, right?
Yes, this is it, yeah.
Exactly.
And am I right, guys, presuming that you feel for him more than respect, more than just love for his music and what he left as heritage? How could you describe what is the leading force inside yourself to this composer?
How to explain this genius personality? It is indescribable for me. I feel everything in this music is so natural music to the human soul. In first place, there are thousands of emotions inside. There is not only, we cannot say he is black and he is white. It's many full with nuances, full with different kind of sensitivity, absolutely sensitive music. And what we discovered was during the work, this all works for 2 pianos and 1 piano 4 hands, what we actually recorded in the double CD, was this extremely important silence in this music. Very often musicians think Rachmaninoff is too many notes, too many voices. It is always symphonical music. Of course it is. But also he writes, again, we are coming back to the texture, to the letter of him, his scores. He writes from 3, even 4, 5 pianissimi. And that means he was searching for this silence, but he also could get to 4, 5 fortissimi. And that makes this composer so contrastful, so big in every sense. The colors are immense. They are, like I said, there are no words to describe one.
You can meet in his music all the human moods in different way, hundreds, thousands of moods. Yeah. Many people think, oh, he's always very melancholical. It is absolutely not the truth. No. He's excited. Yes. He could be very in love. He could be, of course, very downhearted. He could be all human moods that we can imagine, and feelings are into his music. And he was never afraid to express it. Many composers feel the things like we all feel it also, but they are keeping that a little bit behind the curtain. They keep very subjective, but they never express it. Rachmaninoff didn't have this problem. He was immediately into his music. You can feel what he felt in this moment. And this is the most...
But honestly, guys, couldn't you tell similar things about other composers? Because there are other composers who have the same influence.
I make
it over you as well.
That compares with Liszt, one Ferenc Liszt, the same way, only different nationality, different kind of feelings, different culture. But one feel immediately in this music that both of them were believing in God. Without God, they could not imagine their life. Both Rachmaninoff and Liszt were believing in God, and very often we hear this. Even Rachmaninoff had such a difficult life. At the end of the 3 symphonic dances, the very last notes of his music, the last what he wrote on this earth, he says Hallelujah. And he's not afraid to say hallelujah. So he even expressed this through the bells, through this amazingly big sound level and richness of harmonies and excitement. And Liszt does the same way. Liszt is using chorals and make variations on thousands of different, not only operas, also, like I said, chorales. And he was even helping financially. Imagine in very difficult time, he was helping colleagues with finance. That was not something natural at that time. He was giving them food and house, and no, these are really human beings, for just example.
Listening to what you're just telling, I think that you have felt Rachmaninoff, especially so profoundly, that you are able to express this through your recordings, and presumably this explains the extraordinary success of what you have reached. As far as I know, the critics, the audience, everyone agrees that this is just perfect what you did. Previous year, hopefully just on the brink of the pandemic.
Yes. The signal, unfortunately, is a little bit unclear. We hope that you can repeat.
I can still hear you. So let's continue.
Good. Okay.
Indeed, we were very fortunate, and we feel very happy and thankful to God, of course, and to all people who expressed their opinion, a professional opinion about these recordings, especially in this situation of pandemic worldwide. Many, of course, our friends or some professionals close to us had this feeling that it might be difficult, of course, with the pandemic, that our CD was released exactly in that time. But despite that, we had amazing success, and it was great to read all the different views on this music, on our performance, of course. The different views, let's say, from American Record Guide or from Fanfare in America, or Phone Forum in Germany, or different radio stations who announce the CD of the week or CD of the year, from Germany, Romania, Italy, from Japan, and so on, France. Amazingly to read exactly the different points that everybody discovered through this music, through our recordings into this music. And that made us really, really happy.
This is your recording number 16, right?
Yes, this is number 16. And we are very happy because it is the...
name a couple of other previous recordings which have the same impact over you like Rachmaninoff obviously has.
Actually, in the last days or weeks, we were discovering something that we never discovered before. Rachmaninoff became the end of the trilogy, the Russian trilogy in our discography. This Russian trilogy, let's say, started with complete recordings for piano duo by Dimitar Sotirov. And that was our very first recording for the label CPO Classics. This is the red one here. When we first met with the artists and repertoire...
I'm sorry guys, but I need to ask Luben to try to change the source of the internet because it still stays bad like it started like this.
Okay.
So try, we're here, we're waiting, try to change to see, maybe it's going to improve a little bit just.
Yes, just a second.
Sorry guys, who are watching this interesting conversation with the piano duo Genova and Luben Dimitrov. Sometimes it happens. Maybe because of the Instagram, maybe because of the link. Do not forget that we're sitting on thousands of kilometers from each other. I'm based in Sofia, Bulgaria, and my guests today, who are now I hopefully see them better. So they are at least 2,000 kilometers from me, right?
Yes.
True,
yes,
true.
Yes.
And he is very stormy weather.
Near Hanover.
Yes, and we are not in big city, we are in the province actually. This is half an hour abroad from Hanover, so we are in a very, very idealistic green area with nature, with beautiful air. So
okay, we got delay again. Something's wrong with the internet connection, I don't know what. Let's hope it's going to improve faster. Yeah, now we see you, but there was a moment of latency again. I'm so sorry about it.
No, in case it happens again, we can go to wireless, of course.
Okay, being near Hanover, this city has a very special place in your careers, both professionally and personally. So let's talk about this. You both went there as students in the Hanover Conservatory, right?
Yes.
Yes, the University of Music in Hanover, yeah.
And you became pupils of Vladimir Krainev.
Yes.
Probably the last pupil of Neuhaus, right?
Exactly.
So, but you are still just colleagues who respected each other.
No, we were in love, and I think this is the very special connection to the duo. We were in love 5 years before, so we were a pair, and still concurrence. Of course, as soloists, we were living together, we had the same apartment, I repeat, we were in love, and we were practicing and repeating the same repertoire at the moment, what was compulsory for a solo competition in Korea. And that was the hour where our piano duo was born, let's say like this. And I think this 5 years before we played as a joke the Chopin Etude in the Hanover Music University, that was the magic moment, that exactly there was the connection, the soul and heart connection between us, the human being connection. And then 5 years later, the duo was born. And because of this fact, maybe the Chopin Etude as a joke was so synchronized.
Yeah. So even in the small notes in the right hand, not only the melody in the left.
Yeah.
In other words, love played the role of a godfather to your duo.
Absolutely, but we believe Absolutely, but we believe also that in a piano duo, it is very important that the two personalities who meet and start to play piano duo needs to be in a similar level of understanding, of feeling also. Yes. Even not the understanding at first place, the feeling to each other, the emotional world. They might be absolutely different as characters. We are also very different. Yeah. But the point is that we need, and the two partners of a piano duo needs to be at the same level of emotional world. And very, very often people, that's why at the beginning of our piano duo playing, the things just happened like this. And we never worked about 1, 2, 3, let's start now, or whatever, about our synchrony. Never. What we worked with Vladimir Kranev in our piano duo play was to think and to listen about the balance, to think and to listen how we create a phrase divided between you. One of us begins the phrase, the next one follows further on. This is the big challenge in a piano duo, to feel each other even before the partner starts to play or before he finishes or she finishes the phrase, to know in advance what could happen.
But also both sides should be absolutely brilliant, educated pianists with personality, with some character, but very clear character as a pianist, as artist. It's not possible that only one is the big one soloist, let's say, and the other one is just a partner for a small or bigger concert.
Like an accompanist.
Also, this combination should be not like very often a soloist just get for one project, 1, 2 rehearsals and we play piano duo. This is also not the truth for this piano duo genre. Piano duo is very special thing. It is solo. It is actually it's not only chamber music. We hate even this comparison to chamber music, because chamber music is also ensemble kind of ensemble play together. But here we have again the two piano.
I'm so sorry about this.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's going to improve. Now I think everything is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would like guys to turn you back to Hanover, because there are 2 more linking points with this special city in your life. So initially you started studying there. Then you became a duo also in Hanover.
Yeah.
And then you won your very first contest again there, already as piano duo. Describe this story, because it's very interesting. In such a short term, you succeeded to prepare this program for taking part in this special contest. Very special for you, I think.
That's true, absolutely. That was our very first competition and almost very first appearance as a piano duo. So not everybody is playing the first appearance together with playing it as a competition around. As Aglika said, while preparing for this solo competition in Seoul in Korea, a professor from the Hanover Academy of the University of Hanover came into the hall because he wanted to talk to our professor, who was just shortly getting out, Bernd Götzke. And he listened to our play and he said, wait, you are together, you are living together, you sound beautifully even in this solo work, but there is a special repertoire, there is a specific repertoire for piano duo. Why you are wasting your time with this, let's say, trials, you know?
So I need to listen to this clever advice, obviously, for you. Absolutely. And then continuously, in just 2 years, you won the 4 major contests for piano duos all over the world, including in Japan, in Italy, and another one by ARD, the German TV station, right?
We were 9 months young piano duo when we won the Munich ARD competition, and just few months later we won the most big one. This is the Run of 2 piano competition in Miami. That was our first meeting with this continent. Our first steps in America were in Miami, actually.
A very funny story.
But you've got over the years a stronger link with America. So let's talk a little bit about this. How did it went after? How did it go after this initial contest in Miami, which you won?
You know, a funny story, when we landed in Miami, and we were very proud or excited that we are visiting for first time America. And we said to our host, because all the participants of this competition, Dranov, are hosted by families there. This is the tradition. And we said, "Oh, we are so excited," Billy Diamond at that time. "We are so excited to be first time in America." She said, "This is not America. This is Miami."
That was one of these funny
Miami is, of course, a world for its own. But seriously, of course, the feeling to be at first time in America, to meet first great representatives of this nationality, the Americans. We were lucky to meet at in our very first steps in this continent and this new culture. Amazing people, like for instance Loretta Dranov, who was the founder and the very long-term years president of the competition. We spent after our win and during of course the competition itself also hours and days, and later on she was our host also when we visited for taking part in a concert tours, and
she was just great.
We were talking about many things about the American music world, how everything developed in the years there. And by the way, through her we learned also we heard for first time the name Amy Beach, which we just recorded now as a complete piano duo works at the beginning.
It's another thrilling story of yours, the Amy Beach recordings. Tell us this story in brief, please.
Loretta was great. I repeat, not only Amy Beach, we learned from her for first time also the name Victor Babin. And Victor Babin together with Bartok, this is our orchestra CDs from all 11 concertos what we recorded until now in our life with orchestra. This was the CD with the great prize Echo Classic, and we were so grateful to Loretta. She was unfortunately at that time already not between us, but we turned our eyes, I never forget this, when we get the Echo Classic, and we turned our eyes to the sky and said, Loretta, you are happy now to be with us for this prize, because thank you. Otherwise, we never would hear this beautiful concerto. Almost nobody plays this music, and it should be more played. Victor Babin, unfortunately, the first one doesn't exist. The materials are not discovered. But the number 2. So again, to Amy Beach, Loretta explained the stories about Amy Beach, about her very tragic development as artist, as pianist, as composer. She was very unhappy to have this contract in her family with her medicine doctor was her husband, and it was very difficult time for her. In this contract was written that she's allowed to play only 2 concerts per year, and all compositions which he wants to compose and to present to the music world should be only with the special permission of her husband. So this is something absolutely
unbelievable story.
Unbelievable. Absolutely.
And this woman is, like we explained with Rachmaninoff before, the great story about these genius musicians. They were genius composers, genius hearts and brains. Absolutely unbelievable story. She was sitting without education, and she was 2 or 3 years old girl, the same Amy Beach, and she was already singing and composing 14 or 15 small works or songs. Or could you believe it? We are talking almost about a baby. Who is composing. I mean, these are facts. Without education, to compose so many works, to be the first woman composing the symphony in the United States. So I'm very grateful that we did this exactly a few weeks ago.
Actually, weeks, yes. Yeah, so this is our thanks to our connection to the American future, to all the fellow Americans we have in this great country. So that's why we are very thankful about that. Otherwise, it was much more difficult. Of course, we have an open world now, and we have the internet, and we can research almost without any borders. But the point is that our attention was pointed by Loretta Dranov and by all other friends that we met in the years since then to these great composers like Amy Beach and Victor Babin.
And thank her also, we recorded another CD before, America for Two, and we were telling, or we were listening to better to say, stories about Lenny Bernstein, stories about this great conductor and genius musician and all this. I mean, she explained the story from the kitchen, from backstage, and we feel so like, let's say, so naturally, so close to these old genius composers and conductors and colleagues recording Gershwin, Copland and Bernstein. That CD also was our very strong belief and connection in our love to America. So this CD was also successful, one of our first CDs. So
changing the topic for a while because we've got a question.
Yeah.
When are you planning to come and visit Varna again? Varna is on the Black Sea in Bulgaria, of course.
Oh, yes.
The Black Sea
city which hosts an eminent festival, Varna
Yes.
Summer.
Exactly.
Exactly. And this year we were happy to, we were invited by Artistic Director Professor Mincho Minchev to take part, to appear at the Varna Summer Festival in July, and consequently to also guide a master course for piano soloists and piano duos in Varna. So we will be very, very soon in Varna. Hello to Varna.
Well, guys, I know you're modest people, but your awards and your achievements and the 16 CDs and whatever and your prizes speak that you are successful musicians. No doubt about this. What, according to you, makes a musician a really big artist?
To be a normal human being.
Yeah.
What we mentioned before about the tradition of Neuhaus, this is what we learned also from our teacher Vladimir Krainev here in Hanover, and that's what we are at the most so grateful to him, because as a pianist you are taught and trained from the very small age to be from a normal child running around playing football and or playing with dolls like the girls, to become a professional pianist, to moving fingers very fast, to be loud with your play, or to be very silent with your play, to play the pedal, to play concerts, to play competitions. So this is from very early childhood we became professionals in our thinking. Very often, for instance, people around us say, oh, there is very stressful time maybe for you. With stress we are living from our fifth year age, from our fifth birthday in our life. So stress is nothing new, but the point is that all this getting from younger human beings to professionals was our goal coming to the University of Music in Hanover. Krainev, following the tradition of Neuhaus again, brought us back from professionals to human beings, or not back, I would say even more, getting further, because just to move the fingers fast, to play wonderful phrases musically, or to be very expressive in your emotions is not enough to be a successful musician and artist in our day. You need to be able to say something, to tell some story to the audience through the means that you have learned, to paint a painting through the brushes and colors that you worked on all through your professional life.
And that painting or that picture should be so clear, so human being one, so deep one, as quality, expression, as feeling, that the next morning after the concert in the evening before, the people should never think, oh, let's think now what we have to have today as breakfast, or why the child is crying, or who is sick, unfortunately, where we have to go today to arrange everything.
All these tasks.
With other words, a concert should be ever remembered. A concert is a special act and dialogue, I would say, between artist and audience. Because of that, we both don't agree at the moment to play too many concerts without audience. Even we lose at the moment great money or big money, it doesn't matter. We agree with this because for us personally, our artists could never exist without a live audience. They are, of course, recording sessions. We are doing this and we will do this with God's help in future, that we are recording not only CDs, also DVDs or special movie for the TV with your colleagues, Mirko. This is natural thing, normal thing for every artist, but a live concert, this is something what I could not compare with anything others. That should stay like this.
I have the following question for you, which might be not very easy, but think first. If you have to describe your story as a couple, as musicians, what would the tune of this story sound like? If you can compare it with certain composition or some melody or whatever, musically.
Yes, I can tell you my spontaneous. Oh, you surprise us every time when we have a dialogue at home with Mitko. You are just great. Thank you so much. I should say it's a pleasure for us to talk to you, to just great writer and journalist like.
But tell me about the melody, or
yeah. I'm coming back. I will do it. Daphne and Chloe. That doesn't mean that we love only this love story. We love also Porgy and Bess, but Daphne and Chloe is something, not only the story, but the music of the great Ravel. I think this music was always special, playing it and appearing with it, and not only in festivals, also at home when we were working. We even bought for us a special book with all paintings of
Marc
Chagall. Yeah. It's something very special. Why? Because it's extremely similar to us. Daphne and Chloe, they knew each other from childhood. Exactly the story was. Then we have the connection with Greece again. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
And Ruben, tell me, Daphne and Chloe sound also in your mind, answering the question, or maybe you've got another melody.
No, I would say absolutely, because it's expressing exactly as Aglika says, our own story, and that's why it is so personally, it's deeply, very deeply connected to our soul. And every time, of course, we are not playing every day the piece, or we are, let's say, warming up with the piece in the morning when we start to play, let's say, Amy Beach or Rachmaninoff or any other composition. But the point is that every time we come and we are a presenter needs to that we perform this work, we are wow, Daphne and Chloe again. Amazing feeling about that. Or if we create a program that we propose to the presenters around the world, we very often come back to this work, because it's expressing just our own world. It is so sensitive. It's going on the hairs of the emotional feeling.
I must admit, I'm impressed by your answer, because it coincides, which is interesting. But there is another interesting question. Which is eventually your second instrument? And would you like to give it a go with it?
Oh yes, the organ. The organ, we are in love, both of us, with the organ, but I think we don't succeed to do our goals, what we have to do as a piano duo. There are so many new works and so many projects, and we are working at the moment also on different projects with orchestra and choir, and we can play also as a piano duo, face of the piano duo number 5 and 6 and 7, to play with percussions together. So there are so many ideas. I don't think that ever we will succeed to learn this instrument. The organ needs dedication.
And it is also a little bit frightening for us, because we listening to an organ sound, we immediately start to imagine how that could be transcribed also on the piano, so that it sounds also so voluminous or so rich, like in a
wherever you do, wherever you go, you always turn to an orchestra, because the piano, as the organ, they have the sound of an orchestra.
Yes.
And as they say, the piano player, it's a conductor. But I have the following question. Who is conducting among yourselves too?
We are
between us.
We are both conductors, we are both pianists, we are both leading an orchestra. If we play two pianos, of course. If we play one piano, we have together one and same orchestra.
We are both the orchestra itself.
Exactly. I think
responsibility, in other words, right?
You know, the funny thing is that sometimes people are calling here at home and asking the people that are selling some products, you know, and they read, okay, Genova Dimitrov PianoDuo, let's say this company, maybe they would need some products from us, let's say papers or whatever, printing paper. They call us, and without to know us, they ask, may I talk to the director of the company? I say, this is me. Or do you want to talk to the other director, my wife? And then, of course, they already the conversation is at the end, because they don't understand what is about this. But
as far as I know from our previous conversations, you guys both prepare new pieces, each one alone. Prepares the piece, and then you get together and start working. But sometimes, of course, there are differences between the point of view of the one and the other. So how do you solve them? Do you go to a court
Thank goodness not now, and I don't think that it will come that we got forbid go to the court.
We have a small secret room here where our own court is taking place.
No. It's very,
Who's the judge in that case?
I think judge is only God, and very often if there is no answer until we are trying and rehearsing, if there is no concrete solution of who is winning, which idea is the best one, I think the stage decides this. And very
sometimes that you are serving to your students not just as good, brilliant performers, but as well as a couple, the best example for them. Have you thought about this?
Yes.
We try to be like that, and we are teaching always together. And many people are a little afraid of this. They are full with respect, and they say, "Why both together? Could you not Glick alone and Luben alone teach in different rooms?" No, we are doing always together because we were educated almost in this way. Julie and Konstantin Ganev were working this way, and we received the best way so much from them. Why? Because sometimes even they both had an opposite, the opinions were so opposite one, and they were so different and contrastful, and that made us, or that let us think which of these two opinions we to choose. So that made us thinking how to mix it. And at the end, it was so interesting conversations. Our lessons were sometimes 4 hours or 3 at least. And we played big programs as solos. We are preparing for concerts, for solo competitions. And always this discussion, but this is maybe better this way, or no, that I don't agree with this. Then between them was also very often a conflict, and that makes the things, this energetic, full conversations, this very active conversations between two great personalities, like they were, both educated from Neuhaus, but so different. That made us and gave us, I think, the best what we could imagine.
You sound like the inseparable couple. But now I've got the following question for both of you, separately, of course. Would you describe the best 3 features of your partner and vice versa?
Oh my goodness! This question. Oh my God, this is so difficult.
You start first.
You see, that was the private edition of the broadcast, exactly same way. What I can say, I feel beautifully, and I pray to God that my husband is always with me together. I feel so alone if he just goes to the toilet, and I have to teach or stay alone in a room when we work together. So we are like through all these years, like one body with 4 hands and 4 feet. And I think I don't need to explain more what is Luben for me. Luben is extremely sensitive person. Luben is one real gentleman. And I feel a strong, really one stable, strong man to me on my side. And that makes me just happy. But Luben could be also very extremely critical, not only to me, to also to the outside world. He gives everything what he can. He gives his love also to our students and to our colleagues, and that will stay forever like this. But many of them appreciate that. Unfortunately, many of them don't understand that, and this is bad for them. So then I cannot help them. I pray just for them that they develop a spirit.
But aren't you trying also to teach them about this by your own example? Just talking about this with them.
It is, of course, we are giving, we feel not only teachers for music with our students, but we are ready also to support them and to help them in every sense, human sense, from emotional ideas or advices, through the medical, if necessary, giving advices also how girls, boys, whatever. There was even a time when we came to this exciting moment, let's say, when in Chicago there was a competition, very big and serious competition for piano duo a few years ago. 3 of our piano duos were competing at that time in the competition, and due to the time change, of course, and time difference of 5 hours between us and from Germany and Chicago, we changed our own schedule so that we went to bed at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, so that we are able all the time after the rounds, after our piano duos played their rounds in the competition, to listen how the rounds went, what was a problem if there was some problems, or to give advices, what kind of shirt to wear the next round or whatever. I mean, from A to Z, absolutely all the time. And people around us were asking, what are you doing at 5 o'clock in the morning when the birds are waking up?
Okay, Ruben, before we hear your answers on the same question, let me read something, because there was a game, but the question changed. Okay, that was in the sense that you are wonderful guys, and keep on doing like this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. By our new friend from Varna, Dani, young musician. Who of you is first piano and who is second? Another question there is. How did you decide, and do you ever change?
No,
we never changed.
We never changed. Our decision was very natural one. From the physical point of view, my husband is approximately 1.90 m, and I'm approximately 1.72 m. So imagine we are on one piano playing.
But you look equally now. Right now you look like
because of you. You are the reason that we are sitting this way. You said to me that I'm too low for the today broadcast. No, that's
kidding, of course.
Yeah. So imagine if we have normal concert hall, I'm playing the bass, so I'm sitting a second, nobody will see me visually, first visually. And I could never imagine that a man plays the soprano, very high octaves, and I'm playing the bass, me as a woman. So for our decision was extremely fast, extremely spontaneous. No, there was no discussion. Vladimir Krajnev agreed immediately. Even he said, Aglika, you play first and Luben second because of the lower region of, like I said.
Asking you this question is actually, I could not say, like, for instance, we can explain how we started to play piano duo, but I could never, I think Aglika also the same way, exactly the moment when this decision came up, you know? We just said like this, and since then we are like this. It was very naturally like this.
Going back to my question, Luben, which are the best three features you see in Aglika and like the most?
Thank you, Mitko, that not I'm only answering these questions today.
Well, starting with the very natural and first thing is she's beautiful.
Oh
the
my
point
God,
is that I think everybody will agree. The point is also, but also I appreciate very much her strength as a personality. There are not very many women that I know who are able to suppress in this way all the difficulties, emotional, personal, physical, whatever, in the moment, and to bring in the proper moment when it is necessary, the whole professional feeling on stage or off the stage, nevertheless where we are. When it is about to be professional, Aglika is there. And it doesn't matter what happened before, what is at this moment. No, she's there, and I can count with her. I'm not just alone. In a piano duo, the things happen between us all, between the two partners. And this is the special thing, that emotionally, you are like, we are like, let's say, a battery in a car. It's becoming electricity and energy from the engine of the car, but it's also giving energy when it is necessary. And this is the point. At some certain point, if you feel that your partner is in a weaker, emotionally weaker position, you feel that you have to give more emotion, you have to give more energy to support her. So that's why it is so important that I have always felt supported by her, and that I have always a partner that I can exchange this energy, and it is receiving this energy. And that's something absolutely unique. I mean, whether it happens or it is not there.
Okay, guys, the logical next question would be, if you eventually see some bad features in your partner, would you describe them honestly in front of us? It might be one, it might be two or three, I don't know.
Yes.
It is a very dangerous question.
Of course, I know.
Oh my God, let's think. I said something about this, but this is actually negative in the positive.
Aglika, may I recommend?
Yes.
May I recommend something to do not speak about dirty socks or something like that, please?
Okay. Do you see both of us good because we are moving? Is it okay, the picture? Yeah. Because Luke moved it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
I mean, to be critical, I agree with this. What What I can say, actually nothing. Of course, everybody of us has to develop. Everybody of us makes mistakes, but these are all day things. We forgot them. They just happen and they go. And then something serious is coming. We are not thinking about small things. I mean, through the music, to this beautiful art, we are not going deep in this human beings' problems. We have to step one step higher, always
to go
beyond that. What Luben wants sometimes is exactly this wish to make less mistakes, to be better and better and better every day, to reach something new, to discover.
Would you name him a perfectionist? Would you name him a perfectionist?
Highest level. Believe me, when we sit here in our studio where the two pianos are, I have the feeling. Even the very first rehearsal of a new work, I have the feeling, sorry, that I'm sitting and Karajan is sitting in opposite of me. Such a respect, yeah? I mean...
It's another perfect picture of him, I believe.
It's about respect, yeah. Well,
though Karajan used to be very, very tough sometimes with the musicians, so it depends on the point of view.
Because everything should be absolutely precise and on its place, to be discovered, to be fresh, to be absolutely natural way, with respect to the composer, like we said, all this. So I have this, and sometimes while one was feel a little bit tired, I'm thinking, oh my God, am I ready for this rehearsal now with Maestro Dimitrov, or I'm not ready?
So what was the answer? The final answer, what was the answer?
Yeah, the point is that I'm always trying to for myself, for me personally, of course, and for both of us when we are working, to avoid the mistakes, if I can make it more general, saying as a mistake, whatever didn't happen so well in previous time, to overcome it, to step on the decision and to go further and don't repeat this mistake, you know, because I have the feeling this is wasted time. Just
right, I agree.
Luben, please do not avoid my question. Now I want to hear.
I know that you are repeating this.
Absolutely. Sorry, we have to say.
Honestly, I cannot say anything that is bad in Anglika. Actually, everything what I can imagine having in the list, like in a Terminator, you know, the first movie, with all the signs that Arnold Schwarzenegger is having in front of himself, checking the people, nothing could appear that it's negative. And I don't know. I'm just silent here, and it is not just being polite, because I'm, as Anglika said, I'm very direct when it is about this. But the point is that I truly could not remember anything negative about it.
Okay, tell us the funniest story with you both. The funniest story.
Funniest. There are many, but you mean, I repeat, you mean from our professional life? Yes.
Not only the professional life. It could be in your personal life too. It doesn't really matter. Or tell a couple of them then. One professional and one personal.
Well, the point is that in our professional life is very, very much connected all the time, actually, with our professional. That's why it's so difficult to find where the professional life begins and where it ends.
But I remember one story, which one we know from our mothers, from our moms. My mom was, like I said, concertmaster in orchestra, and I was born, I was baby, maybe 2-3 months old baby, with the wagon, and Luben's mom was in the same park, in the same city, and they were together in the same school. So my mom was violinist, Luben's mom was, of course, pianist. So his mom met my mom with the baby, and she was looking on me, and my face says, "Mom, Mariana, this is such a wonderful, sweetie girl. Congratulations, all the best for her." So who could imagine?
Mother-in-law.
And then she will be my mother-in-law. So this is something, not every story begins this way. So we receive many opinions of colleagues of you. They all say one should write a roman or a book about you both, because even our grandmothers made always, and they were talking to each other in Greek language. So the connections between us begin much before we actually.
There is one Bulgarian song from previous time, and very popular song. Even before I met you, our story began.
I was in love with you. Yeah.
I was in love with you. Exactly. This is one of, yes, this is great story, by the way, and fact actually. But I remember one story when we were preparing the Liszt CD with the complete PianoDuo works of Franz Liszt. We were on the ship MS Europe, the second ship, what was just released and built, and that was the premiere season. And on that ship take place always one or two concerts. Pianists or other musicians are invited to play one or two concerts on board of the ship for the audience there. And we were invited also for two recitals, exactly. And in between, because that two concerts were just 1 week before the recordings of the Liszt CD were scheduled to take place in Baden-Baden in the radio, we were under highest pressure to prepare this repertoire alongside with the repertoire for the recitals on board.
What was absolutely different, Stravinsky, Rusatov, and Debussy,
So we played our first recital, audience was excited, thank God, and on the next day we are going into the hall where the pianos are situated, and that was the tea room in front of the beautiful view in front of the ship, where everybody is willing to come from the audience in order to observe. Beautiful, to have a tea. And we asked there the staff, of course, to ensure for us that nobody from the audience is coming in because we need to practice our upcoming Liszt CD. Oh, they were at the moment, okay, if the artist needs that, we are ensuring this, they ensured it, and all the audience of our concerts, 1 week long, was surrounding this room, the poor people, and looking through the windows, what we are doing inside, these crazy artists, they played already their concert,
why they rehearse further for what? Are they crazy?
And we thought, oh my God, for the next concert, everybody would hate us because nobody's coming into the room, and the people would say, enough with this artist, you know? In opposite of that, the second concert was again full with audience, with very grateful audience. People were even more excited and interested what program would be presenting on the second concert, and of course
they were already thinking you were rehearsing the program for the second concert.
Yes.
But of course the ship director excited explained the audience that we are preparing for this CD. Everybody was very excited. Later on we received also letters how wonderful it was, and even interest about where to buy the CD and so on and so on. So it was sometimes we are taking quite much place, you know.
Tell me guys some funny story related to some of your concerts. Something which was unusual, unexpected, but happened. And how did you react?
Oh, that's something that remains forever.
Good question. We never forget this.
We were invited by the radio Baden-Baden to play a very important concert, SVR concert, radio concert, that should be distributed live on the EBU, European Broadcasting Union. And we should play a recital in the Casino Hall. It's a huge hall, very important one in Baden-Baden.
Beautiful one.
Organization from the beginning through the end, everything scheduled up to the minutes. When we have to go, how many steps where, how many minutes or seconds we need from our dress rehearsal room to the stage and back, and so on, up to the smallest detail that you could imagine. Everybody was prepared there, all the microphones were put at the same place where it needs to be, how we should communicate between each other, because when we are playing on the two pianos, we have a distance of almost 5 meters, and the microphones should not interfere with our view between us. So everything was put on the point, up to the point, very precisely. We are ready, and we are getting concert starts. The live transmission starts. Everybody is, wow, bravo, show is already on.
Bach, Mozart, all these composers, absolutely normal way. But then one of the piece was Gershwin, Cuban Overture.
Which is very firework piece, full of emotion inside and so.
I see at once that my husband goes in the other opposite direction and it's far moving away from me without to answer myself what is going on exactly. It was such a shock. I see that the face is far away and more far away, going in opposite.
Together with the grand piano. This is the point. Through all these preparations for the concert, some of the technicians just forget to fix the brakes on my piano. And through, of course, there is some slight declination maybe in the hall on the stage, and at once I feel just during the play we are playing this great music by
and
Gershwin.
You cannot stop because it is live broadcast.
I feel how the piano with all the keys is moving apart from me, and I try to keep it with my knees. To keep it, to fix it at place, because otherwise it could run with very, very fast speed, you know, and to don't be controlled anymore. It was such a shock, and that's why I was also moving at the same time a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right, so that I can keep the piano on place even without the brakes. It was such an experience. My soul was from the top up to the end.
It was very, very amazing. Good lesson. It was funny.
Also in terms of this, that he should be very well physically trained.
Since then, absolutely. And since then, we are doing like the pilots. They never count, always.
Do you guys go to gym? Do you make these things in order to keep your shape?
Oh, we have a gym, a personal gym at our home. We have a special room here, like fitness room, where we have cross trainer and all this thing. Nothing for the hand, just for moving, what is normal for pianists. And we like to swim and we play golf.
Honestly, how many times per week do you visit this gym space, let's say?
I would propose to talk about per month.
Well, obviously, the question was not very appropriate because, again, we have a frozen picture while our guests are laughing at the same time. But let's see. Maybe they will come back. Still
we are fine
missing from here, but slowly coming back. So, excuse me for the inappropriate question, because obviously that was the reason why you froze again.
Yes, I have a button here, you know.
We're listening.
Now we are trying, of course. Every time, as the clicker says, when we see a swimming pool, or we know that our hotel has a swimming pool mostly, we are trying to jump even for a half an hour inside. And of course, now with the pandemic situation, it is not possible, and this is very, very sad for us. But when it is possible, we are eagerly awaiting that we are jumping into the water. Otherwise, cross trainer.
Cross trainer.
Do you guys do something specific, but always regularly, before concert or some important participation somewhere, like crossing fingers or whatever?
No.
This is very sweet. This is just for us a joke. Even some of our agencies do all of this before a concert is coming. Let's cross fingers. That's fine. But even I feel a little strange from this German we have in Germany. One says toi 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 before a concert. My mom was saying that she was also living in Germany. So this is so normal. Yeah, exactly. In Bocca Lupo or Kchorta, Russian language. So every nation or society has different words.
There's no expression about this.
Whatever.
We say God with us. We appreciate that, and I mean all these things are more human beings things. There are people who say when this toi 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 is coming from Teufel. I don't know if it is right. The Teufel is the devil. I don't know. There are people who are discovering all.
Bottom line, we don't have anything special that we say.
We say if one say to me toi toi toi, I will answer same way, or God with you, or whatever. So point is to have this positive energy and to believe that you give or you try to give all your best what you can on the stage and also in our life as human beings.
How about the signs of the superstitious territory, let's say? Do you sometimes believe in them, and do you take them into consideration?
Well,
They are signs.
Yes, they are signs. We see that, we recognize that, or we try to acknowledge that, but we never take our decisions for life based on the signs. Because we think that one could get into the wrong direction, thinking only about signs, or that, for instance, leaf from the tree came down in this way from the right side, and that's why I have to do, for instance, my job like this, or I have
or if a black cat crosses your way.
That's the most lucky thing that we can imagine.
For us, number 13 is wonderful number. Black cat is the best what you can have in your life, even
for me too, to be honest.
Yes. I
will choose seat number 13 if I have the freedom of choosing. I always choose seat number 13.
You see, absolutely. These are really things that you could, from the distance of time later on, after years, you could turn back and say, "Ooh, that was a very, very clear sign for me to do that." Or without that, for instance, something couldn't happen in my life. But to take the decisions for future based on that, we don't think it's, for us at least, the right way.
But like Ljuben says, we appreciate these signs, and the signs are sometimes very clear, and they happen so natural way always in our life. For instance, this situation with the Rachmaninov CD recording session, the second one for the double CD at the Cologne radio. One could imagine this Cologne radio, how big it is, how many projects are there with orchestra, without, how so many colleagues, choirs and groups are recording and concertizing there. So the whole is amazingly busy with great schedule. Exactly from this 365 days, the Cologne radio VDR 3, VDR, or how in English?
West German radio.
West German radio, exactly, number 3. They are giving us the 1st April a start date for the second CD. One could not believe, really, am I pronouncing this? I cannot believe and imagine this. 1st of April is the birthday of Rachmaninoff, and exactly on this day we began the session. And 1st April was also the birthday of our beloved Vladimir Krajnev, was our professor and mentor. So that was something that was just fantastic sign, and that gives us such an energy. We were extremely tired, because imagine to record 150 almost minutes music for a double CD and only Rachmaninoff. That was something, and that was just like a small star, big star on the sky, double star, giving us
I must, guys, admit 2 things for you. That from now on, for me, the 1st of April is going to be also a significant date. Probably because we've got these conversations with you 2 days ago and today, but that's true. I'm not kidding now. And the second thing, I didn't feel how 1.5 hours had passed.
Oh my goodness!
So pleasant talking to you.
Always like this.
I hope for our listeners and watchers also, and friends.
And always with you the same. I mean, we are your guests with pleasure always. You know this.
We're going to continue this interesting conversation now. At the end of this one, I would like you to tell what is your word or your advice for the young musicians that watch this conversation and would watch it in the future.
Oh, there are many things and many good advices from our experience until now, and also
the most important ones.
Some of them. For instance, in this Corona terrible pandemic situation, let's begin with this. Don't forget that they are good sides in our life, and there is God, and there is something beautiful waiting for all of us, and we have to see this with optimistic feelings, with looking to the bright things, to the light, not only thinking, oh, how I should succeed, or how will be tomorrow or after tomorrow, just believing in the positive, full with light future or optimistic future. This is the first thing. Without this, we lose our energy as artists, all of us, and we should better end our artistic life and to find another profession who is not so connected with energy and with soul and with heart.
Music will be, and even for sure it will survive all the problems. I remember one of the stories that Loretta Dranov in our time in Miami explained to us, she was at the very significant rehearsal of the NBC orchestra led by Arturo Toscanini, and they rehearsed Beethoven, I think the 8th Symphony, when Pearl Harbor attack happened in the United States. Japan attacked at that time the United States, and everybody was in shock. On the radio was only that, the theme that everybody was talking about. And Toscanini is coming into the hall, and Loreto was inside, and everybody, he's preparing for the rehearsal to give the sign to start with that. And somebody, I think the concert master, Maestro, are we going to rehearse indeed? You know that Pearl Harbor happened. It was something we are not with our mind.
We cannot play Beethoven.
Yes, and Toscanini turns to him and say, I'm sorry, but there will be wars all the time. People will die from different causes, but Beethoven will be forever. So please prepare. We are going further with our rehearsal. And listening to this, we are thinking all about, in the difficult times about that, there is future. There will be music. Even after us, there will be music, but even more now, it is our goal, also the goal of our younger colleagues that are preparing and maybe somehow scared now, somehow unsure what is their future. There will be future for sure, because people need music. Is not a leisure, how to say, need. It is a natural need of the human being to listen to music. Music is surrounding us all the time through our life, every day. So human beings need music, and they will need it also in the future. Just now everybody is a little bit scared, a little bit blocked in the minds what will happen tomorrow. There will be music, I repeat, and that's why everybody from our younger colleagues should never lose the faith that there will be future also for them. Just they need to be patient and to wait a little bit this time until we overcome this difficulty.
And also past success is not a real one.
Professional
I hate this when I see, this is the only thing what I hate actually, but that makes the human being so uncomparable to God. We are so far away of this God thing, but we have to follow all this and to be our reason to live on this earth.
Very many younger colleagues try very easily through very cheap, I would use this word, very cheap means and ways to reach very fast success. Maybe through the social media, they see, for instance, their colleagues around the world, how they succeed in one or different way to be on stage or off the stage or with different successes, and they think, okay, we need to start to be like them, for instance. No, first of all, everybody of them should need the time to develop as a professional, as a pianist, as an artist, and then again to human being.
To have a real stable education with all steps, with competition, without, some of them are against, I know from young pianists, many say, for what I need this evil, for what? No, competitions are really, really useful. This is our opinion, this is our experience. Competitions are presentation of the future, very active, very good presentation of the future concert life. Actually, what you have in 4 or 5 days to 2 weeks, different long has every competition, you will have this future in your career. So that makes you stronger, that gives you uncomparable experience.
And self-confidence.
It doesn't matter how the jury says and if you receive a prize or not.
I love very much the sentence by Toscanini, Beethoven is forever.
Yes.
And suggest to use it as a final of our today's conversation, which was brilliant. I thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
Thank
you. You are watching Dialogues from Home. Me sitting in Sofia, Bulgaria. My guests, dear guests, Genova and Dimitrov in Germany, near Hanover. I wish you good luck.
Thank you,
Mitro. It was a great pleasure to be together, and all the best, and keep safe, and let's see you very, very soon in presence also.
And do not forget to subscribe to this channel for future conversations with leading musicians, both from Bulgaria and abroad. Wishing you a good evening, stay safe, and believe that the music has a great future.
Absolutely, we agree.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.